Today we're looking at my PUBG settings for 2020. And a few things have changed since I last showed you guys my settings about 8 months ago, so make sure you stick around until the end of this video. If you do simply want to see my settings, I have put links in the description below. But otherwise we'll do a brief run through of each setting and why I've got it set to where it is. And I'd really recommend trying to understand why you have a setting where it is, because this way over time you can tweak your settings and refine them to suit your gameplay. So let's get stuck into what I feel are the best PUBG Xbox and PS4 settings for 2020. I personally use a Type B controller setup. For me, a hold to aim down sight function feels much more natural and is similar to other games that I've played, such as Call of Duty. The downside here is that it does make breath hold quite difficult, but personally I use a controller with buttons on the back, so I've bound one of those buttons to LB for breath hold. I invert my Y-axis because I'm an elite gamer. Dead zones on your thumbsticks refer to how sensitive they are to movement. So having a low dead zone means that your sticks are really responsive. I have my right dead zone set to 4, as this is the thumbstick that controls your aim, so having this too low could cause you to overshoot targets. As the left thumbstick is responsible for movement in general, you can really afford to have this as low as possible, so I have this set to 1. I have vibration on and set to 2. I feel like a low amount of vibration is useful in alerting you to when your character takes damage. Forward running sensitivity I have set to 20, and I haven't really found the need to change this at all. Movement sensitivity I have set to 100, because in PUBG I'm pretty much always sprinting or stationary. Vertical sensitivity multiplier I've kept at the default of 100. I personally feel that this setting comes down to muscle memory, so playing around with this too much you might find it tricky to control recoil for different weapons. For general sensitivity I haven't changed this since my last video. I feel that 13 is the perfect mid-ground between being able to quickly snap between different targets whilst not being too sensitive that I overshoot my targets. Vehicle driver sensitivity I've kept at 5, and aim acceleration I've kept on at the setting of 1. Remember, aim acceleration refers to how quickly your camera is going to reach maximum turning speed, and this is only activated when the thumbstick input is greater than 50%. An aim acceleration for me at 1 is fast enough to keep up with moving vehicles, but is slow and steady enough that I can control my recoil quite consistently over mid to long range combat. Over the shoulder aiming sensitivity I've increased to 10. This is to allow me to keep up with enemies in close range combat. So moving on to aim down sight sensitivity, I have made a few changes here. For the 1x optic scope, I have kept this at a setting of 3. 2x scope I have increased by 1 to a setting of 5. The 3x scope is where I've probably made the biggest difference, as I've increased this from 4 to 7. The reason I've done this is because I tend to use a 3x scope mainly on full auto assault rifles these days, as I prefer to use a 4x scope or larger on DMRs and sniper rifles. For this reason, being able to spray an assault rifle at closer to mid-range combat really requires a bit of increased sensitivity, so that's why I've bumped this number up a bit. The 4, 6 and 8x scopes I've kept at a setting of 4. Again, I feel like if you have this number too high, it is harder to keep your sights settled as you aim down sight at your opponent. And finally, the 15x scope. Who really cares about the goddamn 15x scope? So there you have it. These are my current PUBG settings for Xbox and PS4 in early 2020. If you guys are interested, I can also do a video on my current controller and the different keybinds that I have. So if that's something you'd like to see, just let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, I hope you found this video useful. If you did, remember to give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And finally, I will be streaming some PUBG tomorrow night on Mixer, so check out the link in the description. Take it easy guys, I'll see you soon.